Hey guys, this video is going to be the answers for the Undercover Parent Reading 1. So let's get right to it. Okay, how does Cohen define spyware? All right, so where you find that is here. If you put spyware on your computer, you have the ability to log every keystroke your child makes, and thus a good portion of his or her private world. So taking that definition is spyware is software that allows people to monitor everything that is done on a computer. Now, that's not a word for word. I didn't just copy and paste it, but I read that and derived the definition from that. Okay, next question. Does Coben agree or disagree with parents using spyware? He agrees. He says, but it's a good idea. He acknowledges that it's scary to think about the invasion of privacy, but it's still a good idea. So Coben agrees and calls it a good idea. Okay, based on your answer, write a possible thesis statement for the article. Okay, so let's use the author's name, Harlan Coben. And let's make it really clear and really simple. Harlan Coben advocates that parents should use spyware to monitor their children's online activity. This is probably a little more detailed than you would have gotten, but I've done this so many times that I kind of already know what to put. So anyway, that's the thesis statement. All right, so next question, what is the point of the comparisons Coben is making in paragraph 5? So if you look at it, he says, overprotective parents fight their kids' battles on the playground, berate coaches about playing time, and fill out college applications. So the fighting battles on playgrounds, that's probably something kids should do themselves. Getting after coaches for playing time, that's something they should just mind their own business and let their kids work hard in sports and let the coaches decide. And then fill out the college applications. Well, if the kid can't fill it out himself, maybe he's not ready for college. So what they all have in common is the parents doing things that the kids should be doing for themselves. Okay, and then, yet when it comes to chatting with pedophiles or watching beheadings or gambling away their entire fortunes, then their children deserve independence. So like whether or not a kid gets playing time or gets the application in on time or wins on the playground, those things are really fairly insignificant. But a kid chatting with a pedophile is potentially really dangerous. Watching beheadings is not good for anybody, adults or children, or then gambling away the savings. Like these are really significant things. So basically the parents are concerning themselves with really small, minor things that the kids should be doing, and they're ignoring the really important things. That's the point of the contrast. So let's kind of summarize that answer. Coben's comparisons show that parents are fighting insignificant battles for their children, comma, they ignore truly important things that could harm their children. Coben's comparisons show that parents are fighting insignificant battles for their children, but they ignore truly important things that could harm their children. That's the point. All right, next question. What is controversial about the statement from paragraph 7 that is in boldface type? So let's have a look. I want to know what is being said in emails and instant messages and in chat rooms. Well, what is controversial is that he's encouraging parents to invade their children's privacy. All right, and that's controversial. All right. So next question, when Coben wrote this article in 2008, internet privacy was a big problem. Is that still true or has internet privacy improved? Explain your answer. I'm really not a good one to answer this question. I think you guys know a little bit more about this than I do. I have a Facebook page that I have not been on in a long time. Once I connected with a few old high school friends, I realized that I didn't have that much in common with them anymore. So I basically shut down the page. I don't do Instagram or Snapchat or any of those other kinds of things. So I can't really answer this one effectively. But what I would ask you to think about is, do you set your privacy settings, and do those privacy settings really keep people out that you don't want in? Okay. And then if you send something to somebody, does it still remain private? Like, can other people open it up to people that you don't know? Those are the kinds of things I'd like you to think about when you answer that question. And I think you're in a better position to answer it than me. Okay, next one. In the real practical world, what possible problems or complications can happen if parents adopt Coben's suggestion in paragraph 11? Explain your answer. Well, let's look at paragraph 11. He says, am I suggesting eavesdropping on every conversation? No, with new technology comes new responsibility. That works both ways. There's a fine line between being responsibly protective and irresponsibly nosy. You shouldn't monitor to find out if your daughter's friend has a crush on Kevin, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, this is where I think we have the problem. There's a fine line between being responsibly protective and irresponsibly nosy. Okay, I'm a parent, of course, and I was a teenager many moons ago. And so how many parents would actually have the wisdom to avoid crossing that line? Okay, because we all want to know about our kids and our intentions are always the very best. But what happens when we cross that line and we become irresponsibly nosy or overprotective? Okay, so that's the problem that can happen. Okay, in the real world, parents may not always avoid crossing the line into being responsibly nosy. Okay. In the real world, parents may not always avoid crossing the line into being irresponsibly nosy. And this most likely would lead to conflict. Okay, that's the problem in the real world. We don't always know when to stop. Okay, the information in paragraph 12 is obviously outdated. In what ways can information be updated to reflect today's realities? Well, let's have a look at this, okay? Will your teenager find other ways of communicating to their friends when they realize you may be watching? Yes, but text messages and cell phones don't offer the anonymity and danger of the internet. They're usually one-on-one with someone you know. It is far easier for a predator to troll chat rooms and MySpace and Facebook. Well, I think what is outdated about this is the smartphone. Okay, when the smartphone came, everybody now has access to the internet. So now it's all about privacy settings and how well do they work. Okay, cell phones before cell phones became smart, they didn't have internet access. So you would just call your friend one on one, so you know who you're talking to. But in the internet age, someone could be representing themselves as one thing, but then they're really something else, which is why predators represent themselves as, nice and innocent and helpful and friendly, but then really inside they're predators. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. Okay, so however you answer this question, it's going to have to do with smartphones and privacy settings. And I want you to finish that one because you guys are better at these things than I am for reasons I already explained. Okay, next question. Do you think that the story about the girl is common, uncommon, or rare? Based on your answer, is this a persuasive example or not? Explain your answer. Okay, so he's talking about the girl, the straight A student who has started using drugs and was sleeping with her drug dealer. Okay, so this example is clearly a scare tactic. Now, scare tactics aren't always bad. I mean, sometimes you need to be scared of things. So we have to decide whether this is effective or not. And so I'm just going to give you my opinion, but of course you can have a different opinion. I think this scare tactic is rare. And most families won't have to deal with this extreme of a situation. I think it's a bad idea to make decisions based on rare events that almost never happen. Therefore, this strategy is not persuasive to me. Okay, now again, this is a matter of opinion, and this could be very persuasive for you. So that's what I think, and you are free to put exactly what you think. Okay, and then finally, explain Coben's idea for reducing the conflict that spyware might produce in a family. All right, so this is where it is. He says, do you tell your children that spyware is on the computer? I side with yes, but it might be enough to show them this article and have a discussion. So that is his idea for reducing conflict. If the spyware is put on the computer, you let the kids know ahead of time. So that will cause them to monitor or to change their behavior without the thing of you having to catch them, okay? Coben suggests telling kids the spyware is on the computer to avoid them being blindsided by it. He hopes this will start conversations and reduce conflict. Okay, guys, those are the answers, and you'll be watching this discussion after the assignment is due. Those of you who didn't do this assignment, you're not going to get full credit, but at least you have some answers here to go off of. Okay, guys, I hope this helps. See you next time.